Hello everyone, welcome back. You may have just watched my video on my 31 days of yoga that is coming in January of the new year. But in case you missed it, check it out after this class. We're gonna do a nice full body flexibility practice right now. I'm gonna use my bolster and a strap. So if you have something to make your arms a little bit longer and then something soft ish to lay on, that might be nice as well. But you're gonna need just a little bit of space to move for sure. And let's get started. So let's begin today laying down. If you have a strap, have it to the side. And if you have a pillow of some kind or a block even that you wanna lay on, you could add that in too. Or you can lay flat on your back. You might also want to make a diamond shape with your legs to get into your hips and lay down. Get a little comfy. Bring your arms out nice and wide. Let your palms face up. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes. Close your eyes if you haven't already. And take a deeper breath in and out. So allow yourself to settle in. Let go of your day. Just feel your breath. Maybe allowing your body to be nice and still. Just notice how the air feels as it comes into your body. Notice how it feels as it slowly comes back out. Just start to relax a little bit more in any areas of your body where you're feeling some extra love. Breathe softness into those places. Staying just as you are for 3 more full breaths. Feel each inhale followed by the exhale. And when you think you're done, that third breath, or you know you are, you can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes again. Bring some small movements back into your body eventually. Bringing your feet to your mat so that your knees are bent. And if you are laying on top of something, you can sit up to take it out from under you. Slide it off to the side for now. Lay on your back again though. Maybe walk your feet just a little bit closer towards your hips as well. And then as you connect your low back by tucking your tailbone under slightly, you could add a gentle rock of your knees side to side, massaging the low back. And when you're feeling ready for it, we're going to come all the way up into a seated position. So either roll to one side or rock yourself forwards. But we're going to bring our feet about mat width apart, bend our knees, and then bring our elbows between our knees. So you might have your hands just resting on your shoulders. Maybe only one elbow at a time can be between your knees. That's great too. And maybe you want more than this. You can take the top of your hand, bring it to your side so your palm is facing out, and then tuck your elbow into your knee, and you're gonna feel that nice rotation of the shoulder. So if it's too much, just have your hands in front. If you want to add your second arm, you could do that too. But we're trying to feel some love through the shoulders, the upper back, maybe all the way down to the fingertips. I'll let you know when to switch sides in a moment if you're doing one arm, but just let your head get a little heavier. Close your eyes and take a deeper breath in. Feel your upper back expand as you breathe in air. And let it go. And if you happen to be doing one arm at a time, you can switch sides. If you are doing both and you want more, you might bring your knees closer together. If you want less, open your knees up wider. And then maybe check in with your breath again. Feel the air, fill up your upper back between your shoulder blades. Awesome, right, you guys. Slowly open the knees a bit so that you can bring your elbows out. And maybe you feel like you need a little shoulder roll or shoulder wiggle. One of my favorite shoulder openers, that one is. And then we're going to start to make our way into a straddle. So you can either send one leg out long and have your other leg bent, or you can do both legs, but we're going to move our upper body a little bit here. So if you want one leg out, again, I'll let you know when to switch sides. If you want both legs out, feel free to do a full straddle. You might take just a gentle tip forwards first, or even a little rock side to side. Grab your strap too if you do have a strap. If not, that's completely fine. But you're going to place it on the ball of your foot. Pick one leg if you do have a strap. And then you might simply just hold your strap, kind of turn your chest to face your foot. Or if you want to take your opposite arm to your leg and bring it behind you and hold your strap, it's just going to help take or keep your arm kind of in place to get into the shoulder as well as the legs. But point your toes up a little bit. And then maybe take a tip forwards, whether you have your arms in front of you or one arm behind you. You can take a gentle tip forwards. And then you might stay here. I'll give you a few options to move your upper body around though. You could lift back up if you're folding and then kind of tip towards your leg that has your strap or that is out long. And just kind of lift the chest, maybe even look up a little bit. If your strap gets a little loose, you might have to tighten your grip a bit so that you still get the love through the shoulder. And you might keep leaning over towards your leg. Maybe your forearm comes down. Maybe not. Just point your toes up. If you do have an arm behind you holding your strap, or not even holding the strap, just let it go. Start to sweep your arm up all the way above you. Create some extra length through that side body. Maybe start to look to your toes. Big reach, big side stretch. And then use an inhale to find your way back up through center, so you're sitting nice and tall. If you're doing half a straddle, start to switch sides. If you're doing both, maybe take a gentle tip forwards again. If you are using your strap, you've been finding it useful, you can switch it to your other foot. You don't have to hold on to a strap. You can just bring your arm behind you if you want to. Opposite arm to leg. And then you might turn your chest to face your foot first. Then you might face forwards a little. Add a tip forwards if you want. Feeling the love through the legs. If you're folding forwards, you might start to lift back up and then take a little tip over to the side. Lift your chest a little more. Look up a little higher. Keep pointing your toes up towards the ceiling or the sky above you if you're lucky enough to be outside. Maybe tighten up your grip on your strap. Maybe tip a little further. But just breathe. And that arm that is behind you wants to start to slide back out and reach up and maybe over. You might look towards your foot, past your fingertips. And then using a big inhale to find your way back up through center. You can take your strap off if you were using one. Set it off to the side. You can start to bring your legs back together. Give your knees a hug. A little rock side to side even. And then we'll make our way into a double pigeon from here. If you know some different variations of pigeon, maybe you watched my pigeon focused video. You can do any variation of pigeon that you want to. But if you're going to follow with me in double pigeon, we're just trying to stack our lower legs on top of one another. So bring your foot on top of your knee and then try to bring your knee on top of your other foot. I like to point my toes forward, just kind of is nice for the knees, I find. But again, trying to stack the lower legs on top of one another as best you can. But you might be leaning back. There might be space between your top leg and your bottom leg. You might be able to tip forwards, feeling the love through the glutes, through the hips, everywhere through the legs, if you're lucky. But just take a tip forwards if it feels good to do so. Maybe just close your eyes for a moment. Feel the love through the legs. You may stay as you are a little longer, or you might want to add a twist. So turn towards your top foot, whichever direction that happens to be. Turn your chest towards that foot. And you might stay sitting nice and tall, twist, maybe your hand rests on your foot. Or maybe you tip forwards towards that top foot and your elbow might rest on top of it. And maybe you twist just a little further. You could bring your palms together if you wanted, pushing them together, opening the chest up to the side. Maybe keep pointing your toes forwards. And then let an inhale just bring you back through center. If you are twisting, if you're in double pigeon with me, we're going to switch sides. So bring your bottom leg to the top. If you're in a different variation of pigeon, you can start to switch sides too. But set up those lower legs, foot on top of knee, knee trying to be on top of the foot, lengthening through the spine and maybe perhaps leaning back, maybe leaning forwards, or just stay sitting tall. Whatever feels good on your legs, your knees. Just enjoy a few breaths. And feel free to stay here a little longer where you happen to be, or if you do want to add in the twist, turn your chest towards your top foot. Maybe stay sitting tall, maybe turn your chest even further than that. And if your elbow wants to come down, turn the chest just a little bit more, maybe palms together. Awesome work, you guys. Letting an inhale bring you back. If you were twisting, you can uncross your legs or come out of whatever pigeon you're in. Give your knees a little bit of a hug, rock side to side, shake it out a little. And then we're going to be coming over onto our knees. So if you have a pillow or a block of some kind, you might want it behind you. You might even want to sit on it. But we're going to be sitting on our heels. Or if you can widen your feet and sit between your heels or sit on something, you can do that too. And then we're going to be leaning back if you want to as well. So if you've got something behind you or under you, you might move it around a few times so that it's in a nice spot for you. But you might be sitting between your feet with your knees close together, but your feet out a little wider. You might be lucky enough to feel the nice stretch through the ankles, maybe through the shins and the knees, all the way up to the hips. You can stay sitting tall. Might be nice to lean back, lift the chest a bit. If you have the space to lay down, you might come onto the forearms halfway. You might have a pillow behind you. Maybe it's just under your head or your chest, or maybe it's all the way under your entire upper body. But just decide where you want to be, and we'll take just a few moments here. And you might be lucky enough to feel love all the way from your toes to the crown of your head, or you might feel one or two areas of your body a lot more than others, but that's okay. Just breathe. Soften those places where you feel the love, and you might notice that the feeling changes or moves as you take a few moments to settle in, relax a little bit more. And I want to stay for just 3 more full breaths, unless your body is telling you to move sooner. Or maybe your body wants you to stay even longer. But as you want to start to move again, coming all the way up and onto your hands and knees. You might want to extend one leg at a time back if you felt the love through your knees a lot. You might even go all the way into a downward facing dog if you're feeling it. Switch sides if you're doing one leg. And then find your way back into tabletop and cross your ankles so that you can have a seat. We're going to be just having our pillows close by if you've got one, or your block close by. And we're going to lay down. And then you might bring your pillow or your block underneath your hips, or you can lay flat on your back. But however you want to slide anything underneath your hips, you can add that in. And then we're just going to try to rest on the top of our toes. So kind of curling our toes towards the balls of our feet. You could do one foot at a time, or you could do both. Just try to stretch those toes. Maybe you feel your shins too, if you're lucky. And then just switch sides if you are doing one foot. Feel that awesome foot stretch. And to let this go, you might either plant your feet flat on your mat, or you might hug your knees towards your chest. Give your toes a little bit of a wiggle, or just be still for a moment. And you might float your feet up higher. You might slide your pillow just down slightly so it's helping hold your legs up. Taking all of the weight out of the legs. And eventually, you can start to let your feet come back down all the way to the mat, to the ground, and you might slide your pillow or whatever's under your hips out from under you off to the side, or maybe under your knees. Spread your feet out wide. Making your way into a comfy place. Into Shavasana, where you can relax for a few more moments before you have to carry on with your day. Enjoy the stillness. Stay here for as long as you have time for. Thank you for joining me today. And until next time, namaste.